Your room.
We're in his room.
Oh, this is not working out for me. Anyways, guys, regardless, the game has started, so take it away.
All right, so we've got some wacky SGs on dire side, and I don't know what it is because it's not there. Is it IMG? What is that? Imaginary Gaming?
Let me check in the brackets.
Yeah, so that's
Imaginary
on the Radiant side. We've actually played against, we being my team, we played against Imaginary Gaming in matchmaking a couple times.
Mhm.
And they're definitely a talented squad. They have a lot of high individual skill on their team. Their mid player, I think Bands, is pretty good. And the other ones definitely have some skill too, although I haven't really paid attention to the other ones. But bans are pretty standard here. PL first ban from some wacky SGs. And that's an interesting ban. I mean, PL was definitely a popular pick and popular hero to be ragged on for a long time. But to be first banned is I think they have a specific strategy in mind, or they just really don't like playing against PL, which is understandable as well. And we do have a Coddle ban in the meantime by Imaginary Gaming.
Yeah, so Coddle and Bad Rider out for the Radiant side, and now Niche and PL out for the Dire side. So, yeah, very typical bans, just like you said. But Phantom Lancer, I don't think anybody likes to play against Phantom Lancer. I mean, are you ever happy when you're playing against Phantom Lancer? How do you shut him down? What do you think is the best way to shut down a Phantom Lancer?
As a team, we don't really fear PL. I mean, we're not like, oh yeah, we got to play a PL. But I mean, we don't fear it. I mean, you need heroes that can deal with his illusions quite well, like a Gyrocopter. And you also need to be active on the map at like pressuring him. Although he doesn't need the most farm in the beginning, like if you shut down his farm, it's not the end of the world for PL. If you can shut down his levels, that I think is really beneficial.
Right.
He scales really well with levels with his juxtaposition and his ult.
Yeah, it gets crazy as time goes on. So we'll have to see what Dire decides to go with. IO was picked for the Radiant side. So is Imaginary Gaming the team that liked to go Wisp plus Tiny? Is that the team?
No, that was Bird's Nest. But
I see.
Wisp is definitely a really strong hero. I mean, although he like works really well with heroes like Chaos Knight, Tiny, Sven, and all that, he can still be paired really well with other heroes, even if he can't TP them. Like he does a lot of damage with his orbs, and then, I mean, he's just, as one of my teammates says,
hero.
Yeah, he's the best hero to accompany Rambo.
That's a good call. Yeah, and a good Wisp will be able to manage the battlefield very well, even being able to blink in and save people and heal them and give them speed and everything. So a great hero. And then on the other side, we see another hero who's great at managing battles, which is Darkseer. So Darkseer and Magnus, two heroes with a sort of vacuum ability, obviously reverse polarity and vacuum by the Darkseer, reverse polarity by the Magnus. So two heroes that can really manage the battle quite in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, both heroes are really good, and together they're not bad, but there is still a little bit of overlap or redundancy with the two, which might be able to cause some issues. I mean, by all means, they're not going to lose because they picked both, but I think there's going to be some restrictions on like how flexible their team is, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, focusing too much on one type, but obviously they have three other heroes to complement this, so we'll see how they decide to choose that out.
Yeah, in the meantime, we do have Lone Druid and Gyrocopter being picked, which are definitely really strong heroes. Lone Druid he's like really good in lane. I think he wins 80 to 90% of his lane matchups. So he's a strong presence lane, and then obviously as a carry, he's really strong with his bear, doing so much damage. And Gyrocopter, of course, does a lot of damage as well with Rocket Barrage at level 1, which is I think 300, 400 damage level 1. And then later on, Flat Cannon accompanies his auto attacks really well as well.
Yeah. Gyrocopter is an extremely annoying hero. Of course, at my level, everybody just likes the homing missile, but I've obviously seen some high-level play with him, and he definitely shreds through health. And if he can get you alone, there's very little that you can do to save yourself at that point. So Shadow Demon being picked by the Dire side. So three heroes for each team. Who do you think IO is accompanying at this point? I mean, have we seen the person that he will be accompanying yet, or do you think we still have yet to see that player?
we could see the possibility of Wisp being paired with Gyrocopter. I mean, it's not bad with teleport. Like, you can do a lot of damage in a short period of time, but there's still a lot of options. I mean, you could even have Gyro support and then 2 other carries. You could have Lone Druid off lane, Gyro mid, and then pick another carry, like a Sven or a Tiny,
Right.
or something like that. So there's certain. Imagine Gaming's current draft, they're still very flexible. Well, not very flexible. They're flexible to some extent.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see, but.
And interestingly, they actually banned Sven, so that no longer remains an option. So, and it also looks like the Dire don't really seem to fear who Wisp might be paired with, because they did take Quap out of the equation. So it's not like they're trying to ban Chaos Knight or Tiny or really worried about that. They're still just doing some typical bans. And actually, there's Tiny. So maybe that was there's a Wisp on their team. Let's not let them have easy mobility around the map and have Tiny stun and toss people around as well.
Yeah, I mean, the reason for banning Sven and Nyax is because the Dire still needs a carry. And also, so you want to restrict Magnus what they can pick. Yeah, that true. And Nyax is just a fantastic hero in general. So the Quap ban, I think, is they just want to secure a mid win, or like doing well mid. Quap is a really strong hero mid. So if you take her out of the equation, you have a little bit more room middle to gank and stuff. And then the Tiny and Chaos Knight bans are kind of obvious. You don't want them to be paired with Wisp. Yeah. So. And then the Lina ban is just to prevent a Shadow Demon Lina roam strat, which could be quite deadly, as Io isn't the greatest laning hero, and you could be really hindered by a Shadow Demon Lina sort of offensive trialing. And the Rubik is going to be picked up by Imagine Gaming, so it is going to be a Gyro as either mid or carry. Based on the supports, I think Imagine Game is going to go safe lane, because Rubik and Io are quite defensive heroes in the laning phase. I mean, you don't really have a lot of potential to kill in an offensive tri lane, like a Shadow Demon Lina Nyax tri lane would be, for example. So I think they are going to definitely do a defensive tri lane and pull. And pulling also gives the supports a lot of levels, which is what an Io definitely needs to get to that level 6. On the other hand, this Undying pick, it kind of signifies that some wacky SGs or swag is going to want to go offensive tri lane, as Undying scales much better when facing against an offensive tri lane than you are against some random off lane. So Invoker is going to be picked up, and it's going to be played by Bans. He's actually the hero I watch Bans play on, and he's quite skilled on it. So that's going to be interesting to watch the mid matchup, which could either be Darkseer or Magnus. And so it's going to be Gyro safe lane against, and Naga's going to be picked up as the carry for Swag. So it's interesting to see this sort of lineup. I haven't seen Naga in a long time.
Yeah, well, this is the lineup that we'll see for this matchup. So I'm excited to see this underway. I'm glad to see that there's some differences, at least, although most of these heroes are pretty typical in high-level play. I'm glad to see Naga at least make an appearance, and I always love watching Invoker play, because I feel a skilled Invoker player is just mind-boggling, because he's got so much to manage, I feel, just being able to switch between your two skills. So this will be really exciting. I'm really happy to see this.
Yeah, 10 spells is really something else to play with if you're exceptionally skilled. Have you seen the sort of like Dendi warm-up video where he just goes in WTF mode as Invoker, and he just unleashes all 10 spells in like half a second?
I think I've seen a video recently. I don't know where it was posted, so maybe you're referencing the same video, where it's like #1 Invoker, and he just goes and obliterates people. And I think he got a refresher orb as well. So yeah, I think I saw somebody play some crazy Invoker. So yeah, I mean, there's people out there who really know how to play their stuff, and it's always amazing to watch these players utilize the heroes to their full potential.
Yeah, in the meantime, let's quickly go through the heroes on blue, or the Rubik. We have IMG Vlad Tepes. On Io, we have Spida. Gyrocopter is going to be played by Phoenix. Lone Druid is going to be played by WXCXWX. I'm going to call him W. Just W. And then Bance is going to be playing the Invokers we talked about earlier. And on the Dire side, why don't you go through that, Frank?
On the Dire side, we have Blink playing Undying, and then we have his teammate the Jesus playing the Darkseer. We have Squee playing Magnus. Smitty Werbengerma, something too long that I can't read because of the mute thing. He is playing Shadow Demon, and Zilu playing Naga Siren.
All right, and so it is going to be an offensive tri-lane, Naga Siren, Undying, and Shadow Demon. This is actually not a bad tri-lane at all. Shadow Demon gives like the opportunity for the other two to get into position, and Tombstone, it does a lot of damage in the laning phase, like pre 10 minutes, and then of course Naga Siren does a lot of damage with Riptide herself, and of course Ensnare is a great lockdown as well.
Yeah, and she doesn't really need anyone to set up her ensnare, but at least it gives her the opportunity to get into position, and because I mean it's a targetable skill, right? It's not like Lena's stun, but it will also be able to extend the time that player won't be able to move.
But at the same time, this bottom tri-lane, although they don't have the opportunity to sort of initiate on anybody, they can punish overextension really well. Like a Rubik can simply, if someone overextends, like a Shadow Demon, like the Rubik can lift a Shadow Demon towards the tower, and then the Gyro, who has a high damage ability like Rocket Barrage, can just dish out so much damage in so little time. And if the Wisp is level 3, when like said scenario happens, the spirits can do an amazing amount of damage as well if Spider handles the balls well.
Those balls on your face, you gotta be careful. But yeah, you're totally right. That cloth armor of Shadow Demon is no match for balls and and every skill that Gyro has. So yeah, that offensive tri-lane, I mean, they'll have to be careful and they'll have to manage it well, but it could pay off, and we'll see. There's only 2 heroes bottom right now. There is only Wisp and Gyrocopter.
Okay, what the Rubik's going to do is really interesting and cute. He's going to lift the big creep down, and then it's going to actually pull the entire creep wave of the Radiant. So this tri-lane, if you can do it like constantly, if you do it right, so that you deny every single creep wave. So
that's
although,
really amazing.
The tower's going to take a lot of damage, but this tri-lane is going to get absolutely no XP.
Yeah, they're going to be completely devoid, and because they're a tri-lane as well, you're basically taking 3 heroes out of the XP game, which is massive.
Yeah, exactly. And in the meantime, the mid lane, the Evoker is winning in the early stages against the Magnus. And Magnus really hits his peak as a strong laning hero. Or not peak per se, but like he gets really powerful at level 5 once he gets that level 3 shockwave. And he can do a lot of damage, and he has also has his bottle and charge. In the meantime, in the top.
So bottom lane, sorry, I just want to mention this real quick. It looks like the tri-lane bottom are like, look, they're pulling this creep. I don't know, how do I draw again? What do I press to draw?
You just hold control and draw on the
okay. So they're thinking that they've been pulling this lane, or pulling this creep spawn, but nothing was there. So they're like, what? So they probably, if they don't know already, that Rubrik has been pulling that neutral camp nearest their base.
Yeah, as you see, because like the way that creeps move like this, do you see that? The map? Mini-map?
Yes, no? Sorry. Were you brown? No, you didn't draw as brown. Then no.
Anyways, you can clear the entire creep wave, and you get a lot of EXP as well, because you clear two creep waves yourself. But we do have a smoke gank, and this Shadow Demon and Undying may be able to kill the Rubik, but they're not going to get there in time, and good reaction time from the Rubik. In the meantime, Gyro's going to go and try and pressure the Naga out of the lane, as the supports are completely out of position, but he's going to have to back off soon, because, I mean, the 2 supports on the Dire side are making their return.
Yeah, it looks like Rubik is going to come and support as well, and now the Undying and Shadow Demon are trying to get into position. They are brought to the attention of the Radiant, who are aware that they're there, and it looks like nothing will be forthcoming. Just a little bit of posturing by both teams, but no actual action happening.
They actually almost went on the Gyrocopter, but he fogged the Naga Siren just as she was going to net, so good break for the Gyrocopter, but he's still not going to be able to get any farm here while the Rubik is continuing to pull and get EXP for himself. And this tri-lane needs to kill, because in the current stage, although the Gyro's not farming, like their supports are getting out experiencing the other supports. Like if you take a look at the Shadow Demon and Undying, they have to stay in lane and split the EXP, whereas Gyrocopter and Wisp, there's two heroes in the lane, and then the Rubik is getting EXP elsewhere. Yeah. So the longer this goes on and there's no kill, I mean, the support's going to be much higher level on the side of the Radiant, and that means that their mid game is going to be much more potent, because high level supports generally means you have a really strong mid game.
Yeah. So definitely they need to make sure that something happens bottom in their benefit. Magnus did pick up the regen rune and put it in his bottom mid. It looks like it's just a little bit of a standoff between these two players, and not much happening there. But now bottom, they're getting closer to the tower again because of the creep wave being pulled. Naga, Shadow Demon, and Undyne are coming around the back, and they've actually split up these two players. So now Io is completely removed from Gyrocopter, but they don't want to tower dive, and they're actually just going to be pulling the lane, actually putting down the tombstone as well. So they might be able to pull this lane off a little bit. Oh, not more.
With the tombstone's dead, and this is a really mistimed like sequence of events for the dire side. Is the tombstone is dead before they go on, and they could actually counterattack here. Like, this Shadow Demon might die if he's not careful.
I think he will. Homing missile is on him. It looks like this was a bit of a desperation attack anyways, because they were getting into that position where they weren't getting enough kills. Shadow Demon did try to get healed, but he does get hit by Rubric. It looks like he's going to get just one-shotted by Rubric because of his low HP. So not a good situation for Shadow Demon to be in.
Yeah, we do have the mag coming, but I think it's going to be too little too late, as this some hesitation coming out of the dire side. They miscommunication, obviously. If they'd gone in with the tombstone and the tombstone remained up, I think they could have gotten a kill on the Gyrocopter. As I mean, it's a lot of like buffer you can get from the tombstone.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think Dire actually lost this lane now at the bottom.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for them. The net worth of the two Radiant heroes, Lone Druid and Invoker, are far superior to the next closest on the Dire, which is Naga Siren, and they're ahead by at least 500 to 600. So not a good position to be in. But Naga Siren, I mean, with her Riptide, she does have an opportunity to get into this, and she'll just have to play it a little slower. And it looks like actually the supports on the bottom lane have rotated, so it's no longer going to be a tri-lane.
Yeah, I mean, both the Lone Druid and the Invoker are crushing their lanes, but they definitely need this, as he's going to try and get the kill on the Invoker, and he is going to get it. Great sequence of events there with the RP into Skewer, and great timing by, or great gank by the Shadow Demon, and he's still, I mean, this mag is still really behind in farm, but it was definitely like a step in the right direction towards evening out the mid lane. But in the meantime, this Lone Druid is almost complete free farm and is shutting down the Darkseer pretty well.
Indeed, yeah. But I mean, Darkseer, he can get his Ion Shell will help him. He can go neutral whenever he wants, even. But the Ion Shell will at least keep him somewhat in the game. He shouldn't be taken out too easily. But yeah, if they can't manage Lone Druid, that could bode ill for them much later on.
Yeah, and I think it's going really well for the Radiant side, as they're basically winning all three of their lanes. As you can see, Invoker is beating Mag mid, as I mentioned, but I also think that the Radiant's winning their tri-lane. Like, the Gyrocopter is only 3 CS behind the Naga Siren, but the supports are are sort of lower level, and I think it's going to keep snowballing, because the potency of Radiant's tri-lane, I think, is going to scale much better than the Dire's, but they still need to be careful in this lane. It's not maybe winning, but it's not won.
Yeah, and poor Undyne is only level 3 still. I mean, Phoenix playing Gyrocopter is on the verge of reaching his level 6, and it's just not a good position to be in as a sport. He just now reaches level 4, but you feel it's so disheartening to be so low levels and then just get ripped apart by such a high level hero. It's
the life as a support, man. You gotta take one for the team, and it's hard to play a support because you're just always so low level. You're always dying, and it's a thankless job, man. But
buying all the wards and stuff. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. This Shadow Demon almost died. He's walked right past the Invoker, and the Invoker probably could have killed the Shadow Demon really fast, but decides against it, as the mag was fairly close by. And they might be going on the Naga Siren here. No, the Naga Siren backs out in time.
So is that actually, I just clicked on Invoker, is that typical Invoker hair, or is that different Invoker hair?
That is, I think it's called sexy hair or something.
Oh my gosh, I was going to say, that does not look like the hair.
It's blooded hair of the dark magic, and it's strange, rare, sexy hair. I think it looks awful, but...
It does look awful. He looks like Elvis or something. But
yeah, I don't know.
A little comical.
It's not your standard.
No, not at all. Yeah, pretty hilarious. But, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
We do have a gank. We had a gank coming, but from Shadow Demon Undying. But Invoker saw with the illusions. Thankfully, they weren't actually smoked, or if they were smoked, they took the bait of the illusions and attacked it. So this Invoker is going to be safe, and it's a 3-man commitment towards getting nothing. And bottom lane
goes down bottom. Unfortunate for her. Magnus did teleport in, but it's too little too late. And now, I'm not sure if they were pinging because the courier was on its way out, but anyways, Magnus is just going to buy his time at the tower, actually deciding, no, yeah, just going to stick it out and maybe try to defend the tower.
Yeah, that's really good communication by the Radiant, as soon as the Invoker noticed that Undying and Shadow Demon were to the right of the mid tower, Gyrocopter, Wisp, and Rubik instantly went on the Naga and secured the kill. Yeah. So, I mean, that's really good communication by Bans, their mid player. Meantime, Shadow Demon is looking to gank the Lone Druid, but here he comes. He might be able to get the kill here. And this is going to be interesting if he can do it.
So Disruption's going to go down. It does go down. Puts Darkseer in position. Ion Shell on Shadow Demon. Look at the damage going down. He does ult to try to get a little more health. Wisp might have come in just to save him in time. Was it enough? Are they going to be able to get him? Darkseer does have to commit below the tower. He's already been stunned once, so Wisp can't do anything more. No, he just can't get the kill. So very good positioning. Oh, and now it looks like Rubik's going to come in. This might be a bad situation for Darkseer.
Yeah, Invoker kills the Shadow Demon up at top, and looks like the Darkseer's going to die too. Great TP reaction by the Wisp, able to tether and get him out safely, as well as a really good unit body block by the Wisp on the Darkseer by the tower. So the Radiant's really playing well right now with great communication and great individual skill as well. So, but in the meantime, we're going to have a push bottom, but I don't think it's going to.
4 heroes are converging bottom. Actually, it looks like they're going to really want Gyro in a hard way. They might even just try to be happy with tower. The ward for the Radiant does see most of it. They at least see Shadow Demon and Undying getting into position. So Gyrocopter will be wise to either not show himself or get out of dodge really quickly. But in the meantime, the 4 players are just content to sit north of the tower and poise themselves. And actually, looks like a response from the Radiant. Rubik and Wisp coming.
Yeah, I actually like the idea of pushing right now because they realize that like half the Radiant team TP'd, so they can't defend it. But yeah, this Gyro's going to go down maybe, and but the rest of the team is here. And the Gyro actually wanded in time.
Man.
Big RP by the Mag here, and he's going to not skewer away. He's going to go for the Gyrocopter, but
so he got what he came for. But Shadow Demon did die for it. It looks like Spirit or Silly Bear is on his way out. Oh, he gets a song, so now it gives the Radiant Dire a position to get, opportunity to get into the position, which is exactly what they're going to do. Tries to time his decay properly. He does get 1 kill for it. I don't think Silly Bear is going to get out of this.
No, he's not going to get out of it. He actually gets a little bit unit blocked by the Rubik, but the Rubik and the Invoker were able to kill the Mag, get back at the tier 1 tower, and they loop back around. The Sleep actually bought the Radiant some time to come back, and they're going to get a kill in the Undying as well, but looks like Naga's
There's no mana on Rubrik though, so if he can just juke a little bit, too much DPS. I guess he realized there wasn't a stun on their team, but he just didn't have the HP to survive that.
Sorry, yeah, and let's take a look at the graphs here, and it's like 5,000, 4,000 XP and gold for the advantage of the Radiant 12 minutes in. It's not like terrible for the Dire side, but obviously it's not the greatest, and they're going to have to climb up a hill to get back into this game here, as both sort of carries or farm dependent heroes on the Radiant side are getting their farm, as opposed to farm dependent heroes on Dire are not getting the farm. So they're gonna have to start 5-manning soon, I feel, in order to get back into this game.
Poor Shadow Demon is only level 4. Invoker is the highest level on the Radiant, being level 11, so he's not even halfway at that position. It's going to be such a hard hill to climb for that poor hero. And at least Wisp on the Radiant side is also level 5, so maybe something to hang his hat on.
Well, now that he's level 6, I mean...
Yeah, there's still 1 level apart.
That's like a big level to get on a Wisp who can just bring the Gyro anywhere. So if there's a team fight going on and they need to save somebody, they can get the farming Gyro to suddenly show up, get a bunch of kills, and then go back to farming. And that's one of the strengths of Wisp, is you can bring a farm-dependent hero into the fight and out again. And they're going to do that here. Going to get a call down onto the Naga, but I think it might be too late, as you can take some damage.
There is a homing missile as well coming in, but yeah, it is too late. Actually, what we missed was Magnus up top was actually trying to teleport in, but then there was a lucky Vine... Entangle, sorry, yeah. I was going to call it something else. There was a luckily Entangle on him, which stopped that. Now Magnus is going to come in, decides to back off, and actually gets entangled again, so Shadow Demon is going to have to reveal himself, but Lone Druid's going to know better. Actually, Disruption going down, there we might see a big reverse polarity impale. Now he's going to try, gets picked up by Rubik and can't finish the job, and actually might get hurt up by Rubik as well.
I'm surprised he didn't skewer him back, because he did have the mana, but But because he
decided
didn't
to
tour, he's
impale
going to
and
be
then
in a good position here, and great tether stun by the Rubik, and the Shadow Demon's going to die again. And the Mag does get away, though. Still not a good trade, obviously, is 1 kill for nothing. The Invoker, in the meantime, is going to look for somebody to kill. I think he sees it, and he's going to get a kill in the... Oh, great play by Invoker. Standing on top of the hill, having like a sliver of vision, but he sees where the Naga is, and he can guess where she's going to walk. This is pretty linear. Gets the Sunstrike and gets the kill, which is a really big pickoff on the highest farmed hero on... or second highest farmed hero on the Dire side, and they're going to try and go for the Darkseid here.
Oh, but he does surge his way out, and he gets out to safety. He is such a hard hero to kill, kind of like Puck. He just has so many escape abilities, and now Lone Druid is just going to continue his farm top. It's going to go unabated. There's actually nobody defending. The bottom tower is also getting pushed by Gyro, so 2 of their carries are being farmed and pushing quite nicely. And Invoker is managing his lane mid as well, and Undying is the last defense mid. So we see the Forged Spirits and Sunstrike being the weapons of choice for Invoker right now. So a little bit of a pushing power coming out by those Forged Spirits.
Yeah, and this Lone Druid is getting pretty big, and I think he's gonna. I'm assuming he's gonna go Armlet, and once he gets the Armlet, it's pretty big. Do we have a fight somewhere?
No, Invoker just force-staffed out into perfect timing. Magnus and Shadow Demon were converging on him as well as Naga Siren, so it could have been bad for him, but because he was able to farm that force staff, he got it to safety easily.
Yeah, they are starting to 4-man here, and I don't think I necessarily agree with it. I think the Magnus should be down here as well. I mean, if you're going to 4-1, you should probably have the Naga being the 1. But I guess they're going to get a tower here, and they might actually kill the big Darks here, big wall and vacuum, but good mech here.
Oh,
what's a mech?
Darkseer almost dies to Wisp balls, as dangerous as they are, but it looks like they won't be able to take the tower, and now it's in deniable range, so the Dire will be able to take it down. Naga has to be careful. He actually got a little brave there for a couple seconds, but then pulls back.
Yeah, that sort of hesitation again from the Dire led to nothing really happening. I mean, they wasted a wall. A lot of the heroes on the Radiant side were, a lot of ults wasted, and they didn't end up killing anybody. They got them low. The sort of hesitation allowed them to sort of back off, get into a good position, and re-engage on that. So I think Dire needs to be a little bit more direct here.
Yeah, unfortunate circumstances. All they get for it was the $100 from the denied tower, but not what they came for. I'm sure they wanted more than that.
Oh, the tower got denied too?
Yeah, tower got denied.
Oh, that's salt in the wound.
Very
right
unfortunate.
There.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a huge amount of gold lost for the entire team. But the entire time the Lone Druid has been farming for free, and he's almost done his Armlet.
Yeah, how big is he right now? Let's see the net worth.
It's rather large.
Yeah, him and Invoker are hand in hand right at the top. 6,000, about 6,200 in between them, or average, sorry. It looks like Call Down is going to come down. It's actually going to miss everyone. Undying actually very low on HP. Does try to heal himself. Everyone's so low on the Dire side. Somehow they survive. Lone Druid just can't finish the job. Oh, Sunstrike, or not Sun, yeah, Sunstrike almost hits the retreating players, but they actually stopped before they got hit by it. And actually, everyone's converging on top. Five-manning top now.
This Magnus had a huge RP and got 2 kills with that, especially on the guy, which is really big. But this Lone Druid still lives, and he's going to live to see another day. But it's like they need to do this sort of big fights with Mag RPs. Oh man, wow, he's got lit up.
Cold Snap plus Forge. Spirits.
Yeah, the Mag needs to continue getting these RPs, but the rest of his team needs to follow up a little bit better, I think, and actually secure these kills as opposed to getting half of them and the other ones sort of escaping with really low HP. Yeah. If they can keep doing that, they're definitely back into this game. But
Invoker did take down middle tower, was not denied in time. 2 heroes did teleport there as well, and now they have nothing to save and nothing to do, as Invoker just takes his money and runs.
Yeah, and let's take a look at the graphs here. It's nearing like 7,500 apiece for XP and gold, and it's continuing to climb for the Radiant side as they continue to secure the advantage. Although there's some dips in here, but for the most part it is continuing to rise for the Radiant, and it's looking good for them, especially as the Bear continues to get more and more farm.
Yeah, this top tower will go down easily, gets the last hit on it, ensuring the money in his pocket, and there's not much that he has to fear right now. He feels like a boss just up there pushing pretty deep in there now, and now Magnus does show up, does scare him a little, does come forward with the Impale. What's he going to do now? He does get hit by the Fade Bolt and decides to back off.
Yeah, they might actually turn on this. The rest of the Radiant team did TP to the top tower, and they're definitely gonna go on this, man.
Yeah, focusing on the Shadow Demon, he does disrupt himself just in time. The Tombstone does go down. Undying, look how quickly his health melts as well. Not much he can do. And oh, this Rubric gets a little bit too deep. He does steal the Impale. Oh my gosh, is he going to get away? No, he does get killed by the Decay. So that would have been terrible for the Dire if they couldn't finish him. The wall does go down, the Wall of Replica. It looks like the Dire are pushing pretty strong now. They might get in position to get a couple kills here, and it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, big RP there from Mag again, like securing 2 kills there. A little bit of miscommunication with the Naga Sleep and the Shockwave, but it did allow him to get that RP, and a really good turnaround from the Dire side. I thought it was going to go a lot worse for them, but the Rubik overextended a little bit, and they were down 1 hero, and then it just escalated from there.
Yeah.
And this is what the Dire needs to do to get back into this game.
Yeah, it does draw the kills almost even. The whole time, though, Gyro was pushing bottom. He did take the bottom line, and now he's even got a stacked Ancient Pit that he's taking out with what was his Flat Cannon, which he'll just pop in a couple seconds again. So just a lot of farm for him coming out of bottom.
Yeah, definitely. And oh, he's actually stealing the stack. Okay, that's even better, as he has a stack
Pretty
of his
huge.
own back home. I think that's stacked 3 times.
There was 2. There was 2 rock
No, back,
golem guys.
like back on the Radiant side, he has 3 stacks as well. So.
Oh, so he can go and pick that up as well if he likes.
Yeah, interested that he went to go Helmut Dominator before BKB, considering the amount of lockdown. Well, actually, it's a hard decision, because although BKB is a really great item on Garo, as he gives him a lot of room to do what he wants, a lot of the spells on Dire side does go through IP. I can see the arguments for either way.
Oh,
so,
and it looks like Magnus is now going to steal the triple stack? No, just seize
there's
it.
no way he can take it. There's no way he can take it.
I thought he was actually going to go in there like a boss, but decides to back up at the last second there.
Yeah, I mean, if he was going carry mag with like Battle Furies and like Mask of Madness, he could maybe take it, but he's going like your standard mid build with Blink.
Yeah.
But it looks like Gyro might start heading over there and do it. He does dominate a creep, and he's going to be able to keep stacking it on his own, and it's going to get pretty big. He's 1900 gold right now, and I'm interested to see what
Magnus actually. Magnus has an inkling about this, and now he sees the neutral creep that's stolen. He's like, no, I don't want you to make this any bigger than it already is. And now they've also warded up here. So it looks like they're going to try to come back and kill somebody who tries to get all that farm.
Yeah, he does have the rest of his team there to like help support him, but I still don't think he can do it. It's a little bit like having a stack this big is a little bit like trying to do Roche, if you know what I mean. You're committed in this position where you can get converged on really easily.
Yeah.
And then you also have Ancients attacking you.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's just like, it's not the best situation to be in. So, I mean, I definitely agree. Like, they warded it to see when the Gyro is there farming it, so they can sort of like reverse that situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But they can't do it themselves, and I definitely agree with the decision to back off.
Yeah, that's exactly what I see them doing the wards for.
Yeah, so they're going to start 5-manning now. The other 3 are going to stand back here, and I think they're just going to push down mid here. They're actually going to go smoke, and I really like this decision here. Try and get some pickoffs and take some towers. They need bottom, as they only have 1 tower actually, and that 1 tower was denied.
Yeah.
So they need the gold desperately. They're going to pick off Gyra, who's
are they going to
and apparently they're not paying attention. No, they're going to get the kill here, and that's a huge pickoff too on a Gyrocopter who had quite a lot of. Well, actually, he had all his gold is almost unreliable.
Oh man, so it's.
Yeah, so it's
eaten up quickly. And it looks like, are they going to try to break the regen on this tower? Oh, actually, there is no regen on the tower. No
tier 1s don't have back. Yeah, tier 1s don't have back.
So a nice little pickup for them. Not only get the kill on a carry, but they also take down the tower quite easily. And now they're all going to go top to defend against Lone Druid, who, by the way, has been farming like a beast top and has now surpassed net worth. And actually, if you look at the net worth tab, all 5 heroes on the top. Oh no, wait, sorry, I have this sort of wrong. All 3 heroes at the top belong to the Radiant side, so they've been farming quite nicely.
Yeah, this Lone Druid is definitely going to do a lot of damage. His armlet is done, and that's, like, although not as cost efficient for damage as a Maelstrom is, it's definitely provides a lot of damage. And one of the big things as to why people are getting armlet these days, as popularized by Outway 2000, is because it gives so much armor, which is desperately needed on the Lone Druid to survive, as well as HP regen. So it's a great item choice, and he's probably going to follow it up with a Maelstrom himself, and his bear is going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah. So it looks like Top is going to try to take down the tier 1 on the top lane, but in the meantime, Radiant has been doing a great job of split pushing. Every time that there's one person pushing one lane, there's always another lane being threatened by another hero that has huge pushing potential, whether it's Gyro or Lone Druid or Invoker, and it looks like Lone Druid and Invoker decide to hold hands and push this tower, and the money goes to Lone Druid.
And I definitely agree with this decision by the Radiant. I mean, look, if you take a look at the Dire's lineup, it's so teamfight oriented. Mag, Darkseer, Undying, Naga. Like, that's a lot of damage coming out. And the way they're doing it is they're split pushing and being more cost efficient. So
What are
the
they doing?
The Lone Druid's still taking damage. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. This is a terrible decision.
They all have TPs, and they're waited until they've lost one Rax, and now they're waiting until the second Rax is going to get halfway down. Just not enough reaction time there. They all had the TPs. I was checking them while you were talking. I was like, why aren't they doing this? Why isn't it going on? Oh, that's unfortunate.
And the stragglers that don't have TPs are going to get picked off here by the rest of the Radiant side. And like I said, I mean, this split push is working out really well. They get a tier 2 or a tier 1.
Look at the huge damage! Almost straight up took out Magnus with his little meteor storm there, and his deafening blast. Or sorry, go ahead.
It's a flying meatball.
Oh, it's a flying meatball, is it? Have you seen the thing on Reddit where it shows the different icons in China Dota versus our Dota?
No, I haven't. That actually seems really interesting.
You should check it out. It's pretty hilarious, the differences. I guess they have something against scary faces, so they don't show you
you can't show I think bones or like dead things. Like in World of Warcraft, they didn't have Wrath of the Lich King expansions for so long because like there's so many dead things. And the Undying Race, like in America and Europe, you can see the skeletons at the elbows. In China, in the China servers, they have that covered up.
Yeah, and if you look at some of the skills, so for example, Forged Spirit looks like a little skull on fire, but in China, it's just like a bowling ball with eyes on fire. So it's pretty funny how they've made it more PG, I guess, for the Chinese market.
Yeah, it's interesting how that works. In the meantime, Maelstrom is going to be picked up by the Bear, and he's probably going to go towards an AC after that, or maybe a Basher. And I mean, he could really do anything. He's just doing so much damage on that Lone Druid, and I mean, the fact that he got a free Rax for nothing is really a big misplay by the Dire side, not recognizing that that's what the Radiant could do and push down on a tower and a Rax in like seconds.
Yeah,
like
just two of them as well.
So much damage. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so unfortunate for them that they now have this mid tower always pushing into their base, but at least they're not out of it really. I mean, they've been struggling and trying to climb out of a hole for a very long time, but if they can get a nice engagement, they have some great pushing and damage potential themselves. So anything could happen in this wonderful game of Dota.
Yeah, exactly. No, we do see, like, look at Dire side. They're terrified right now. They can't get picked off because they're so far behind, so they need to keep on 5-manning. But the problem with that is they're against a team that can split push quite well. So they're really in an interesting position. And as you can see, like 3 heroes at the bottom lane are going to start pressuring bottom, and they're going to need to commit more than 3 heroes to deal with this. And Shadow Demon's dead.
Look at the damage on Shadow Demon. He does disrupt himself just in time. Did he save himself? Oh, the missile came in just at the last second. Unfortunate timing. Nagasiren does pop her ult to get in position for what's his name? Oh, he goes down really quickly, and now Gyrocopter's going to go down too. Does fight to the last bullet, but isn't able to take anyone down for his troubles.
Yeah,
Rubik was the name.
Like, obviously the sleep was really great, and he got some kills out of that. But like they had to commit their entire team to that, and in the meantime, Lone Druid got a tower kill top. Obviously, it's not the best trade for a tower for 2 deaths, but I mean, it's sort of cutting their losses kind of thing. And if they keep doing this, there's no way that Dire can sustain constantly committing an entire team just to deal with 3 heroes.
Indeed, yeah, and this is exactly what's been happening all game. Every time that the Dire has been converging on an area, even if they're getting kills, it just looks like the Radiant is content to just take a lane and push it farther in. So now we see that only 2 tier 3 towers remain for the Dire side. 1 lane has been completely pushed in. They can't afford to do that anymore. They can't keep relinquishing these towers. At some point, they need to be able to stop them with just 1 or 2 heroes.
Yeah, and at the current state of farm, they're not going to be able to stop the Lone Druid or the Invoker or the Gyrocopter with just 1 hero. And that's the real problem for the Dire right now. They need more heroes to deal with less heroes.
They need more than 5 heroes. They needed a 16 play or something. So yeah, it's
they're playing
unfortunate
this
they're
really well.
hemorrhaging right now.
And Rubik's actually going Rod of Atos, I think, or just a casual vitality booster. But Atos I actually like as an item a lot on supports in this situation. Yeah, I'm at this Rubik is pretty farmed actually. Wow.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job. Rubik's such a fun hero to watch just because of his versatility in the battlefield. But it looks like the Dire are positioning themselves near the Secret Shop, which means Lone Druid has free farm and free push up top. I'm not sure if they're going to do anything about that. It looks like they're just going to walk up there, make a little leisurely stroll towards the north and see if they can stop this push again. But they also have to worry about mid, and actually, are they going to converge on Invoker? Not sure. Magnus looks like he wanted it.
They're smoked right now, and they're going to try and kill somebody, but like this Lone Druid is becoming a total nuisance at top lane. Like, it's a constant thorn on the side. Like, the lanes are still pushed at top, and they're going to have to go back and deal with it because they don't know where the Lone Druid is. They can't leave. They're really restricted in their movement because of the split pushing by the Radiant.
Completely stuck to within their first little part of their base. They haven't crossed river in the longest time, and Radiant has just been crossing river freely and going wherever they like. Lone Druid has been eating the farm of the neutral camps, as well as the creeps that just keep spawning for the Dire as well. And it looks like actually Dire has an inkling that they want to actually converge on Lone Druid. Are they going to be able to get this kill?
He's in a really interesting... Oh, he's in a bad position right now. If they realize this... Because like the Nag is behind them. They don't
see him though, do they? They're just guessing where he might be.
Right, they see him now, so they're probably going to get a kill.
There it is.
Yeah, but if he survives long enough, they could turn it around, because Invoker's on his way.
Oh,
and like,
look at the damage! His bear still was able to kill Shadow Demon, and they just now got him. He was so tanky and strong, and Shadow Demon, poor guy, couldn't even withstand the bear.
Yeah, that's like I said, the bear is really wealthy right now, and they needed 5 heroes to kill him.
Yeah.
I can imagine if he was just split pushing by himself while the rest of his team was doing something. And yeah, that meatball does a lot of damage.
It sure does.
Kind of just you can't handle the meatballs.
Oh, that exhort. And yeah, couldn't stop it. All he did was just the deafening blast and then the meatball, and then he easily melted to that. So unfortunate for Magnus, because they definitely need him in battles, and they can't just have him keep dying like that.
Yeah, so the Gyrocopter is actually deciding to completely forgo Black King Bar, and he's gonna just go for a Yasha and then finish his Butterfly. Yeah. And I kind of do agree with the decision. Like I said before, a lot of the spells on Dire side do go through BKB, except for Sleep. I mean, it'd still be a very strong item, but I guess he figures that the other items would have been better. And they're gonna pick up this Naga, I think. And here goes the Tornado. Where's the Meatball? No, Ice Path.
Deciding to Ice Path instead. The meatball's on cooldown. It's up now, but he actually took it off of his Q by changing his ult skills, and now he won't be able to catch anybody. But yeah, it was on cooldown, unfortunately for him.
It doesn't really... Well, like him taking it off this Q doesn't really matter because he does have Ag, so he can just Q it up again as a 2 second cooldown? Yeah, it's a 2 second cooldown. And they're going to take Roche with this, and he's going to die pretty fast here. And it's going to be an interesting position, though, because a team fight is going to favor the Dire side, 5-on-5.
Yeah, Magnus is back now as well.
Yeah, positioning is very important for this fight for both teams.
We'll see how they manage it. In the meantime, I mean, the serendipity on the side of the Radiant side, they're able to just send in their other units. I mean, the Bear and the Forge Spirits can go in there and take out Roche while they just sit on the outside and prepare. Nagasiren does pull her ult to get into a good position. The homing missile on Undyne only slows him for about a second.
Wow.
But ball down, a huge vacuum. It looks like an incredible. This meatball is going to do massive damage. It's going to be a team wipe.
That was a really bad miscommunication by the Nag and the Mag. He RP'd before the sleep went off, so he RP'd nothing, and then he charged nothing. And that's led to the team wipe. And this Gyro is actually just really big, so I guess team fight is not in the favor of Dire side anymore. And with this Aegis, I mean, they could throne, honestly.
Yeah, I think he could easily just push it right in. There's not much that the Dire could do even to stand up to this in a team fight. Invoker's just too big now, and his skills do way too much damage, and you saw it just melt all 5 of those heroes who happened to group up because they were attacking a vacuumed opponent.
Yeah, but the Radiant's going to decide to not, take the risk of going for the juggler, and they're just going to secure their advantage more by taking bottom racks. And I can agree with this decision as well. And watch this tower. Okay, bye.
It's gonna be quick. Yeah. Fortification only delays the inevitable.
Yeah.
Shadow Demon does come in, and has he overextended himself? If there's an entangle, it's going to be over for him. Magnus is going to come in now, does a little bit of a shockwave. Oh, and now comes in with the impale back. He doesn't have his ult anymore. The call down is huge. Oh, look at the damage. Once again, that damage, and it's going to be another team wipe. And Undying buys back, but to what cost? And now the bottom racks are going to be going down.
Yeah, the meatball, man. That's all the meatball.
That's huge damage. Like that nuking ability on Invoker, he's played him very well. And Naga goes down quickly. This looks like this will be the final push. This will be the push to end Swag's life in this tournament. But they played well. They got really deep into this tournament. So hats off to them as well.
Yeah, they're definitely a good squad here. But Magic Gathering, just the better team today. And is displayed by some really good individual skill, but also some good team coordination and communication. By Imaginary Gaming, and I guess they're going back up against, or they're going against Meeks now or something?
Yeah, I believe so, which will be the losers final, and the winner of that will go into the winners final. So there goes the Ancient on the Dire side. Only 3 teams remain in this tournament, so you guys can check out the brackets. I'll post them again, but Mank, what do you say about that ending?
I mean, you could kind of see it from a while away. It's not like a sudden
change. It's building.
Yeah. But I think the Radiant played really well. Like the amount of damage they could do and great communication, like the instance top where like the Wisp TP'd really fast and then saved the Lone Druid and then they end up getting 2 kills out of it. That was just like an example of just great communication and